Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're jumping straight into the high-stakes, highly lucrative world of the merchant navy to really unpack this massive industry and specifically to contrast its two major career paths, engineering versus nautical science. You know, if you've ever wondered what it takes to travel the world while earning a top-tier salary, you are in exactly the right place. Let's get right into it.
All right, picture this scene for a second. It's 3:30 in the morning, you're somewhere out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, over 2,000 kilometers away from the nearest piece of land. Outside in the pitch dark, the waves are crashing at over 8 meters high. You're basically living on a floating city that's carrying cargo worth thousands of crores. There's no city traffic, no local internet cafes to escape to, just you and the endless ocean. You step out of your cabin, and depending on your path, you're either heading up to the bridge to safely navigate this absolute beast of a vessel, or you're walking deep down into the engine room to take command of a machine producing over 50,000 horsepower. And honestly, that intense scenario, it perfectly illustrates why these massive ships matter so much. I mean, nearly 90% of all global trade by volume moves through merchant ships. We're talking about the smartphone in your pocket, your laptop, the petrol in your car, your medicines, and literally the food in your pantry. All of it reaches countries across the globe on the backs of these incredible vessels. Just to be crystal clear, we need to define what the merchant navy actually is. This is entirely distinct from the military navy, which is obviously out there protecting a country's borders. The merchant navy is a purely commercial fleet. It's the absolute backbone of international commerce, transporting cargo and passengers across the world's oceans to hundreds of ports everywhere, from Asia to the Americas. For thousands of students, this is a dream career because it's this brilliant mix of heavy engineering, advanced technology, leadership, and true global travel. Life out there is completely unlike anything you'd experience on land. Imagine waking up to a totally different view outside your window every few days. One week, you're sailing through the beautiful Mediterranean Sea, and a few days later, you're carefully navigating the Suez Canal. Fast forward a month, and you could be loading cargo in Singapore or Brazil. Because these ships are moving 24/7, officers work in highly disciplined rotating shifts. But it isn't just a grind. In their downtime, sailors hit the ship's gym, watch movies, read, or just take in these spectacular uninterrupted ocean sunsets. So here is where your potential future in this industry splits into two very distinct paths. You share the same dream of life at sea, but your daily reality couldn't be more different. You're either going to keep the ship alive and breathing from deep inside the engine room, managing all that massive machinery, or you're going to dictate exactly where the ship goes safely from up on the bridge, handling navigation, radar, and weather. Let's break these two down.
Let's kick things off with the B.Tech marine engineering route. These engineers are literally the heartbeat of the vessel. Working down in the engine room, they inspect giant diesel engines, boilers, generators, pumps, fuel systems, the whole shebang. And the career progression is super clear and structured. You start as a junior engineer, then you climb the ranks to fourth, third, and second engineer, all the way up to the ultimate goal, the highly respected chief engineer.
But on the flip side, we have the B.Sc nautical science path. These are your deck officers. If engineers keep the ship running, deck officers decide where it goes and make sure it gets there in one piece. Working up on the bridge and the deck, they handle route planning, radar operations, cargo handling, and all the crucial safety drills. You'll start out as a deck cadet, moving up to third, then second, then chief officer, until eventually you can take command of the entire vessel as the captain, also known as a master mariner.
Okay, so how do you actually get there? After finishing your 12th standard with physics, chem, and math, you need to target India's top maritime institutes. We're talking heavy hitters like the Indian Maritime University, which has campuses all over, from Chennai to Mumbai, as well as Talani Maritime Institute, AMET, Anglo-Eastern, and SIMS. You really want to aim for these specific colleges because they boast incredibly strong industry connections, meaning they place graduates directly with top global shipping companies right out of the gate. Now, timing is absolutely everything here, and it all hinges on the IMU-CET entrance exam. Generally, application forms open between January and April, then you'll sit for the intense entrance exams in May or June, followed by counseling in June and July. By July or August, boom, your academic session begins. It's a tight schedule, so you've got to stay on top of the latest notifications, since things can shift slightly from year to year. All right, let's talk numbers because the financial reward for this demanding lifestyle is just wild. As a fresh marine engineering graduate, you're looking at between 50,000 to 1.5 lakh rupees a month. A trainee deck cadet brings in roughly 25 to 80,000. But once you hit those mid-level officer ranks, that jumps to between 3 and 6 lakhs a month. And at the very top command, chief engineers can earn up to 20 lakhs a month, and captains are pulling in anywhere from 10 to 25 lakhs a month. And remember, because you're often on international vessels, you're frequently getting paid in US dollars.
And hey, if those massive paychecks weren't enough, this career literally pays you to explore the globe. Depending on your route, you could be docking in Singapore, Japan, Australia, or South Korea. You might cross the Atlantic to Brazil and the US, or head up to Europe via Germany and Norway. Sure, port stays can be brief, but you are getting a front row seat to experience entirely different cultures across continents your entire career. Now, I gotta be real with you for a second. This is absolutely not a vacation. The hard reality of life at sea requires an incredible amount of mental resilience and discipline. You are going to be away from your family for months at a time. You will battle terrifying storms and rough seas. You're working rotating night shifts with immense responsibility for the crew's safety, often with very limited internet access. You really have to carefully ask yourself if you have the mental toughness to thrive in this kind of isolated, high-pressure lifestyle. But the great news is, even if you decide later on that you want to step off the ship and back onto solid ground, your future is completely secure. Global trade is only growing. There are massive opportunities opening up in offshore energy, LNG carriers, and new green shipping technologies using alternative fuels. Plus, experienced officers easily transition into high-paying, shore-based roles like port management, marine surveying, and shipping logistics. Your expertise is always going to be in demand. Both of these paths demand absolute discipline and serious technical chops, but they also both offer an incredible life of international exposure while keeping global trade alive. It truly comes down to what fires you up: mastering the raw power and complex mechanics of heavy machinery, or mastering the art of navigation, leadership, and precise logistics. So, I'm going to leave you with this final, thrilling question as you map out your future. Are you drawn to the roar of the engines or the quiet, calculated focus of commanding a vessel from the bridge? If this deep dive helped clarify the Merchant Navy for you, please like, share, and comment on the video, and subscribe to the channel for more such content. Keep exploring and stay curious.